Welcome to the Software People Stories. I'm Shiv.
I'm Chitra.
And I'm Gayatri.
We bring you interesting, untold stories of people
Associated with the creation
Or consumption of software-based solutions.
You'll hear stories of what worked,
and sometimes what didn't,
you will also hear very personal experiences.
and insights that would trigger your thoughts
And inspire you to do even greater things.
Before we jump into today's conversation, a special thanks to PM Power Consulting for encouraging and supporting this show right from the start. With over 1,000 person-years of collective experience, PM Power has helped many organizations, teams, and individuals chart out their own journeys of excellence and make progress. Thank you, PM Power. Now, let's move to today's episode.
I'm very excited to welcome all of you into the March month, where we are showcasing extremely powerful individuals, right from a climate tech expert to a person who's actually beaten all odds in terms of health, and in the technology world, she's a senior director in software. And I am also super excited to share our male ally to share what he thinks about women who are breaking various constraints and various barriers, and how he looks at the world very, very differently. Today, as part of our March special, we are celebrating another successful woman, Manisha Deshpande, who's a vice president in NuReLM as a platform engineering specialist. She talks about how she has believed in lean in, let go, and show up as her way of building her career across the span of 3 decades. She talks about her humble beginnings of working with rental desktops to building, having a step-by-step approach in her career graph. She covers very simple ways of working as well as very profound, model of creative thinking in her personal life, bringing that into her professional life. Listen on. Hi, Manisha. So nice to have you here. Welcome to the Software People Stories. And we are thrilled that you are appearing in our March month as we celebrate the Women's Day. Happy Women's Day. Welcome to our podcast.
Hey, thanks, Gayatri. It's a great opportunity for me to be here, and a happy Women's Day to you as well.
Manisha, a short introduction about yourself, please.
Hey, thanks, Gayatri. So yes, so I'm a vice president digital platform engineering at NuReLM, and overall I have 25 years of experience in IT industry, and I would call myself as the engineer at heart, and later in point also getting into the design world. So it's like design and engineer. That's the career graph for myself. Brief about myself beyond the industry timelines is that I graduated from Wadia College in Pune. I did my bachelor's of computer science and master's of computer science in 2000, and that's where I started my computer science journey. While I wanted to do something which was a creative field, which is non-engineering, but somewhere there were some setbacks at that time that I couldn't get through my creative field competitive exams, and then I came into engineering. And with the full support of my parents, I completed my computers and bachelor's and a master's in computer science with Wadia College, and that was something which gave me a lot of confidence in the computer science journey, and that's where I started liking programming, problem solving, and everything that was related to coding.
Fantastic. I'm looking forward to this conversation. So first question I normally ask is that when you graduated and when I graduated, computers were very few and far between. And what is your early memories of programming or computer programming in general? What kind of pulled you towards it, or what was your early memory of it?
Right. So it is like, early back in 2000s. So we were going a phase of, the digital wave at that time. And frankly speaking, I had, I didn't have a computer at home, came from a humble background, and we had to really, rent a desktop at home for our college work. Like, three of our friends, we rented and we prepared our assignments, our practicals, and, experimented with programming before the exams at home. And it was like, the 286, 386 Pentium processors during that time. And it was fun times, basically managing with whatever was feasible and around. So I started my career as a developer in startup. It was an early stage startup in back in 2000, and I was there for around 3 years. And I was a developer, C++ developer out there. And fortunately, what happened was I got a on-site assignment while being at that company. I was just 3-year-old in the industry. It was a pharma customer, and I had an on-site assignment. And while I was a coder that time, when I went to the customer location, seeing what I built or what I coded, how it is being utilized or how it is simplifying any kind of business processes at the customer end, just gave me a kind of a spark for me, that just writing coding and how it is impacting, or what is the bigger picture, what is the customer context, how people are using the things that you're creating. And that part was a very, I would say, very turning moment for me to get more interested in the way things are happening and what kind of problems we are solving. And somewhere that is where I remember very clearly that my journey for product engineering, thinking about customer centricity, and thinking about how beyond my coding the things are going to help out, and how the solutioning would be happening and how it will be getting applied. So that's my some brief memories from the early days.
Wow. I think startups today, if you look at it, startups, working in a startup is a very cool thing. I'm amazed that working in a startup back in 2000 must have been a little bit anxious, right? Because not many people would have heard the name. Those were the days when, unless you know the name, people like, okay, what are you really legit in terms of your work experience and everything? And understanding solution, understanding customer context is very cool, Manisha. And after the startup experience, which domain did you stay with?
Right. So this startup was into digital asset management. And as you rightly said, back then startups, not knowing the names, or, that time there was a context or a concept of dream company. So I had my own dream companies which I wanted to get in, and I couldn't clear during my initial, college placements. So, but I would say that, I was lucky to get started in the startup, and it was digital asset management domain, as I said. And this first company was purely in terms of learning and absorbing whatever I was gathering around regarding programming, regarding coding, regarding solving problems. Later on, the second company that I went into was something which truly shaped my thinking, my way of working and collaborating with people. So that time again, initially it was product company. Later on, it was a services company wherein I stayed for a decade. And that was into, like, it was majorly identity and access management and security domain. But that's where somewhere from the product engineering concept, partnering with our customers, I moved from being domain oriented to domain agnostic, and more attached to the technology and more attached to building products and partnering with the customers to build products and solve problems for them. So that's how the second company happened.
Nice. You sort of moved away from a working in a customer context to more of providing shared services sort of a model, right? So tell me a bit about your, I mean, when you speak about renting a desktop to what you are doing today, right? Actually running a digital platform, digital interface for your firm. How is the kind of transition has happened? What kind of a inflection points have you seen in your own career up to this point?
Sure. So I mentioned about my first company, which was a lot of learning, absorbing things. The second company, which shaped me as a professional. And then there came this third company. After a decade, I joined the third company, and again a services company where actually, I discovered that what comforts me and what discomforts me. In the sense that if there is a challenge, should I pick it up or should I remain in the comfort zone? And that is how the journey happened. Wherein the third company which I went into was again a services company, and again lot of domains, again lot of customer segments like early stage, mid-size, small and mid-size businesses, and then there were enterprises that I got into. So that is how these three transitions in the career shaped myself. If I talk about the inflection point, I would say that there were a couple of inflection points. The first one being, I intentionally slowed down. Okay. So in my third company, I had my family, I had my son. So intentionally, there were some responsibilities. So what I did was, we have seasons of life, right? So where you want to pause, where you want to build on learnings, where you want to accelerate. So I just stayed at the same level for some time. I didn't chase any, so-called ladders in the corporate, and I took that step over there with no regrets, completely my choice. I wanted to do that, and that's how I avoided any travels. I avoided any extra hours of working or focusing more on those things. That was one inflection point. The second inflection point was an important one, and why I say important one is because that is where the discomfort fact or accepting any changes, that kind of a journey started for me. Wherein I was an engineer before, and being someone who likes creativity beyond coding, I took up the UX, the User Experience Center of Excellence in my company. So that was a center of excellence, and that is where I took that ownership and grew it from small to the way it is there today, and we are catering to all kinds of customers today. So that was one inflection point, and why I call it as an inflection point is it is actually because how both the design and engineering worlds come together, and again getting into the product journey, like what kind of product mindset is needed. Are we building the solution rightly, or are we building the right solutions? So those kind of things came into picture, and then my role changed from owning accounts, being an engineering manager, to a COE head. So that was one more inflection point, and here I got kickstart of experiencing the enterprise world as well. How things change from early stage or a company who is in their journey of growing versus a company which is already there established, and then what kind of things would come into picture. Lot of collaboration with multiple stakeholders, lot of collaboration with different kinds of roles around me. So these areas and these different roles and the kind of discomfort and change that brought in, I would say that that helped me to reach here where I am in terms of my learnings, my um, mindset, in the terms of how opportunity could be taken, how a growth looks like in terms of professional and leadership and personal as well.
Fantastic. One is I mean, that is true for most women. When we get into family, and the family needs us, and that's also a very crucial period of time where you can't just outsource it, honestly. So you have to sort of let go some responsibilities and do it. And there are phases of life when you can take more responsibilities, be in a broader manner or a deeper manner. It sounds like you went into more of the deeper side of the world with a user experience, and you also had you mentioned in the early stages of the podcast that you wanted to be in the creative side of it. So how did you prepare yourself for these points of change, Manisha? Mentally
Right.
as well as from a technically. I think if you can share both, that will be great.
Right. So, as you rightly said, I think before I get into answering your question, you pointed out one important part of letting go, right? So, I have learned it my way that, Wherever there is a need, you have to lean in. If required, you have to let go. But what has kept me going is showing up every day, or ensuring that whenever I am taking something, I put in my all efforts. I work with people. I like to work with people. I collaborate, and the curiosity part of it from the technical side. So I just wanted to bring that point and highlight that, because letting go has helped me I would say thrive all these years. That where you have to let go and without regrets. And it's okay to let go. You cannot have it all, or you cannot do everything around the world. There would be priorities in life, and where you can ensure that what kind of priority is important at this point in time, and the other things can be taken up later as well. So just wanted to point that out. And in terms of preparing myself for all these aspects, so mentally and physically, I would say that technology is there. Technically, yes, because we have seen the shift, right? So for the past 25 years of my career, there were a lot of technology shifts that happened, which was internet to cloud. There was, the architectures changed, monolith to microservices. The way we do processes like waterfall to agile to the latest way of doing things in the AI era. There was mobile revolution happened. There is UX I mentioned, data exploration. It was cyber security, lot of things, and today it is AI era. So technology is shifting, and I would say the shelf life of technology is also shrinking right now. So to mentally and physically be here and be there, one is the curiosity. The other part I keep telling is that beyond technology skills, it is more of the soft skills also, your mindset to learn new things and sometimes unlearn also, right? That the way you treat each change happening around. So one thing is that you are doing something which was like I'm doing my coding versus I understand a bigger picture, versus I could utilize the right tool. I know things end to end. And today it is more about creativity, the kind of stability, foundational aspects that are coming in, because technological aspects, much of the things are taken care of by the AI today. So then how you balance this soft and technology skill is become very important. So that is on the preparation overall from the technology side. And I would say the other end is also your personal aspects. So if you have to deal with change, if you have to deal with any kind of shifting landscapes around you, you need to build a support system around you of friends, families, mentors at office and in the institutions that you belong to, and also have your some hobbies or some pursuits which keep your mind away from the entire professional life. Take a break and focus on something which is beyond work, so that the next day when you come back, you are relaxed, you are calm, you have more thoughts, you can do some innovation, and you can strive in the changing world. So that's the thing. And the kind of process that I've followed in terms of physical fitness, in terms of creativity, and in terms of technology. So all these three things that have come together for me, which has let me be on this path and enjoy this path.
Oh, first of all, I think there is a lot to unpack in. I think one is the aspect around the lean in, let go, but the last one is actually you stay in the journey, basically show up, right? I thought that was very powerful, Manisha, in terms of saying sometimes it's all right to identify when you want to balance. It's not about the textbook world of saying creating a balance. I think each of us have to find that for ourselves and be happy about it. I think the critical aspect of it is not about whether so and so has done this or that, but it's about, are you having your own inner peace? And I love what you're saying in terms of having your hobbies to sort of create that balance. Tell me a bit more about what you do. I heard you say something around fitness, around something creative. What do you do in your free time, whenever you
Right.
get?
Yeah. So again, I like to do different things, push myself in learning new things and trying different things out. So there are, in terms of passion or hobbies, I like painting, I like sketching, and in recent times, I have started exploring with digital art. So that is one side of things, and then somewhere I also started with let's try out jewelry making, for example. So in our office fairs, I had kept my stalls. So that was like I had this in my mind that I need to keep one stall of myself in some kind of fair or in some kind of event or something, and I could knock off that bucket list. So that is one aspect in terms of the creativity, which gives me some focus and mental peace. And the second one is like I like fitness, so exercising, keeping a watch on the health, and hiking, traveling. So those are the kinds of things that I do whenever I get time. So being in Pune, it is, there are a lot of things to do around, a lot of areas to hike around. So those are the things that we, as a family together, have come together, and we keep doing that.
Fantastic. There's so much that we have in common in terms of hiking, in terms of, I may not be as much in the painting or jewelry business, but definitely in the fitness space, Manisha. I think that sort of having different realms of our own life keeps us going. I think that is true for across everybody. As long as you have some sort of a hobby that you are able to manage to keep staying, that brings a little more pep in your in your feet next day when you come and deal with a problem, or you have a different perspective to the same problem. So one question I was having when I was looking at your posts and LinkedIn is yeah, I know you were working for Gav's Lab, and now it's called NuReLM. So what is your role as a VP platform, digital platform? What do you do on a regular basis? What is the most exciting part about your role?
Right. So, in the past 4 years, I have changed a lot of roles. I will take a little step back and explain that, because uh, as a company, we have gone through uh, mergers, acquisition. Now we are ourselves acquiring companies for growth. So, as a VP Digital Platform Engineering, since last year, the kind of role that I've picked up is more on a horizontal, like UX was a horizontal. Now, entire engineering is a horizontal in our company. And the most exciting part is that I like collaboration with people. I like to work in different segments. So, this entire role, which is like a horizontal running across the company, it caters to different verticals around whatever we have in the company. And it helps the solutioning part, the technology part, innovation, what kind of offerings would be helping our customers, what kind of offerings we should, think about in the upcoming years, strategically how to decide some things, what kind of solutioning would help our customers, and if we have to deal with a problem statement at hand, how we need to approach it, and then working as a horizontal and ensuring that the different business units in the company do get benefited by this particular horizontal is the exciting part that I'm doing right now.
Fantastic. So it's a kind of a shared services, but at the same time, creating some sort of a model in which other developers are able to utilize it and leverage it for their own self, right? So when we talk about the current I can't not talk about AI and how it has changed all of our lives fundamentally. How do you think your role or your team's role is going to change? Maybe we can't ask 5 years now. We probably 1 year down the line. How do you think is going to change?
Right. So everyone is talking about it. If you see everywhere, there are a lot of things in terms of two sides of it, right? So in terms of how AI is changing the way we work, and that's where I had referred in the previous part that how we looked at what we are doing in our lane of things and versus the bigger picture, and how things would be solved, what kind of problems would be solved. So that is one part of it. But overall, what I see is, I keep telling that to my team members as well whenever we are talking about, how and what next step. So I think the shift is again something which is skill and a mindset, wherein as a human we need to upgrade, right? So um, we talked about full stack, right? So we had initially there were generalists, there were specialists, like somebody is doing a backend coder, somebody is a front end coder. So there were specialists, there were generalists. Now what the need is like a T-shaped professional, wherein you have a depth of things, you understand one area very well, and then you also have a breadth of things of an awareness. So for example, if you are a backend developer, then you need to understand how the front end works, what kind of infra related things would be needed, how to scale something, how to think about from the user's perspective. And beyond coding, it becomes like, what kind of outcomes are you trying to get using AI? And because AI is making you do things faster, technology aspects, many things are getting automated now. So if you are a professional who have good strong foundations, good breadth of details, you can use AI as a co-pilot. That is one part. And in the upcoming 5 years, you can also work in a way that you know what needs to be done, the intent needs to be there, the context needs to be there, and then you can again accelerate whatever you're doing. So that shift, again, I'm saying that the technology is shrinking, the shelf life of technology is shrinking, but this learning, unlearning, adapting is something which will be a bigger shift, and more soft skills coming into picture along with learning technology and keeping abreast with the technology.
Excellent. So Manisha, you speak about unlearning and being able to build on those fundamental blocks or the foundational elements. I want to understand what is your background before when you were growing up. Was it you studied everything in Pune, or how was your background? I'm very curious to understand.
Sure. So, from the background perspective, my father was in defense in Air Force, and I was born in Maharashtra. But being a defense family background, I had to travel across India, sometimes outside India as well. And so that is how the way I grew up. So different schools in each city, whenever we are moving out of the state or out of the cities, wherever we are moving. So there were different schools. It would mean different people, different places, different teachers, and different friend circles around at home and at school. So that has been kind of a background that I have had in the past. And then finally, when my father retired, we settled in Pune, and I've been in Pune since then.
Wow. I realized when I was speaking that some of these foundational elements that you mentioned and what it takes, I think I could sense that there must be a story there when you were speaking about it. So when we speak about the looking forward from a future perspective, right? Um, how are you preparing mentally in terms of when I say preparation? One is from a core skills like having your co-pilot, ensuring that you are sharing the context and ensuring that you become the person who's validating it. What else would you advise for our software professions or professionals or other professionals who are listening to our podcast in terms of their own learning and readiness?
Right, right. So, one important part that has stayed with me and I would want to tell is the curiosity part. Because, early back in the times in 2000s, that aspect of curiosity that, we have to learn something that is new, which is a programming skill versus, when the different eras of things came in, cloud came in, then cloud has its own areas of complexity, and then how it expanded, how then it there was thing of moving from on-prem to cloud, the kind of journey that we went through. Then we had different hyperscalers coming in. Similarly, AI is happening, and AI is evolving right now. And we had some reactive measures that we were taking as engineers, that there are some tools coming in, we learn that tool, we apply it in the customer environment, we apply for ourselves in coding, and then we started seeing that what kind of workflow could be automated end to end and being more proactive about it. So there was workflow automation that came into picture. And now that we move ahead further, we have the agents. We talk about agents, that how each agent can simplify some specific aspect. Then now it is a part of how these agents can work together and solve a particular problem. So things are evolving, technology is evolving, and I would say that as an individual we need to also evolve, and that's why I said that there is some upgrade needed for human also. And when we say about full stack developers, I would say that full stack would mean both from technology perspective and soft skills perspective, that how we can have empathy in terms of what we are building and how we want to build that particular part, and how we are collaborating, what kind of business outcomes we are targeting. So that is the kind of journey that each individual will have to think about beyond their own technology skills. And collaboration would be the key, and learning will always remain. And that's how it will evolve. So any kind of creativity, any kind of judgment, any kind of intentional thing, contextual thing that we'll be learning and working in the partnership of the human and machine partnership. So that is where I think would be something which we have to look forward to in this cycle of overall disruption that is happening, and which is happening at a very faster rate.
I think disruption is the right word. But
Yes.
at the same time, we have to look at it from a curiosity. You use the word curiosity. I think that's very key. If we do, if we think that it's a complete unknown or it's a complete black box, then the whole purpose is defeated, and somebody else is going to be able to look at it in a more of a look at it from a fundamental building block perspective and then take it from there. So I think this has been a fantastic conversation about you sharing your experience starting from rental desktops to we talking about AI and looking at it from a workflow perspective. So Manisha, you want to share any advice for our listeners in terms of how to think about themselves and how to look at it?
Yeah, I would say, beyond technology again, because, technology advices are pouring everywhere around for people, and I will not repeat those aspects again because that is something which have been there. It's not an option. We have to learn. We just talked about what kind of technology learning, unlearning, curiosity, and those aspects. But to thrive in this industry now, I think with the fast changing technology world, the important aspect is to building a foundation around you in terms of uh, health, in terms of support system around you, in terms of your sustainable routines that you're working around. We talked about there will be phases in life, so how you can become more resilient when you're looking at these things, right? You need to not get feared. Don't have a fear about, whether you'll be replaced, what will be the next thing, but it is more about creating this foundation around you, which will help you remain focused, remain, on your toes in terms of learning things. So that is where I'm saying that, how you can ensure that these foundational aspects are around you, so that you ensure that at times when there is a need that, you would be stressful, you would worry about, what next, will I be replaced by something? How do I strive in this kind of thing? So that is where these entire things that we spoke about, that, the non-technical skills, having a hobby at the personal level, so that when you come back, you have a sharper mind, you can think clearly, and you can learn clearly, and you can evolve. I would again say that technology is upgrade is not an optional thing anymore, but the evolution is something which will help you strive and focus more better on the outcomes. Because the way I'm seeing it is, if you remain an executor, if you remain a coder, then you will be automated. But if you are a thinker, an explorer, a curious personality, then you will be able to thrive better in this industry in the coming times.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Manisha, and wish you a very, very happy International Women's Day, and a happy International Women's Day to all the listeners again. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts and your career and journey and the struggles. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Thanks for this opportunity.
We thank Siddharth for the music and Anita for promoting the Software People Stories.
If you like this episode,
Please subscribe on your favorite podcast client.
And spread the word in your network.
if you'd like to share your story,
Contact us at podcasts@pm-powerconsulting.com.